Hello, my name is Laura and I like to craft stuff. Today I'm going to be working out of this great book again. I want to try this block down here, which Maggie calls 4-Patch Jacob's Ladder. I haven't done one of these. It's a pretty simple pattern, but I know it's a classic. But I'm trying to do a low buy or a no buy, which I feel like I do kind of often, encourage using what you already have. So I was looking for inspiration in my stash, and I came across my orange fabrics that I've been slowly collecting because I wanted to originally do an orange and cream quilt, and I still kind of want to do that someday. But I don't have cream fabric. But instead I have this black fabric with white polka dots, and I think that'll look really cute. So I'm going to be doing these two. So I was looking for a pattern that had only 2 colors, and that's why I chose the Jacob's Ladder. So yeah, if you want to join me in this process, keep watching. I make a lot of quilting videos, so like and subscribe if you want to. I guess we'll get into it. One thing I do want to say, so looking at the pattern, there are little 4 squares and then half square triangles. And so she has here 2.5 inch for the 4 squares. So I'm probably just going to do that in the strip method, and then I will be doing half squares in my old method, but you could also do flying geese and then cut it in half if you wanted to. But what I was saying, for the smaller squares for the orange color, I have a lot of this fabric left, and so I was thinking I would do this for all of the smaller squares, and then vary the larger oranges in the larger squares, if that makes any sense. So that's the plan. That's what I'm planning on doing. This should be easy peasy, but I'm looking forward to it. So let's get into it. I feel like I didn't say the name of the book. It is 1,000 Great Quilt Blocks by Maggie McCormick Gordon. I've been using this book for a while now, and I'll link it down below, like the title. I think it's out of print at this point. What we see here are my me ironing badly, 2 strips sewn together. So I did 2.5 inch strips, just the length of the fabric, with the fabric or whatever. I cut those out and sewed the 2 colors together, and here I am ironing them out. This will be for the 4-patch smaller set of the squares. I do want to say that before I was working on this quilt and this video, I did order a jelly roll and some basting spray because I wanted to try applique and like doing some more artsy quilts, like more inspired quilts, I guess. I haven't started that because I think the basting spray maybe was the wrong choice after looking at a few other applique videos and like blogs and stuff. So I might have to just go and get fabric glue. But yeah, so I do have a jelly roll video coming up that I'm very excited about. Here I am. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut these into 2.5 inch strips in the other direction. First, I'm making sure that my ends are even to be able to do that. And then basically that gives you half of your 4 square. And you just turn them around and sew them together, and you got a little 4-patch. It's so easy. I will say this quilt was remarkably easy to put together. And although I will say this also, the entire time I was really concerned that I was doing it wrong, like that I was misreading the pattern. I had to check the pattern multiple times because I was really concerned. I was really concerned with the layout of the half square triangles, but in the end it worked out. Spoiler alert. I always do this, I know. But it did work out in the end. I also am aware fully that in the past I've said I don't like orange and black together. And generally speaking, I don't. I don't know what's gotten into me, but with this one and my jelly roll, they're both orange and black. So here I am eating my words. Orange and black can be cute sometimes. And here's that final 4 patch sewn together with the 2 strips. That was, super easy. And then I did 5.5-inch squares for my half square triangles before I trimmed them down to be 4.5-inch. Because I prefer trimming down my squares. I feel like it gives me more wiggle room to make mistakes, and I don't have to be as paranoid about making mistakes. Because in all other crafts that I have done in the past, I don't like worrying about that kind of thing. I just want to be able to go, and if there's a mistake, there's a mistake. But with knitting and crochet, you can't really see them too often. You can usually like add a stitch later if you're missing stitches, but the mistake is hard to find sometimes. But with quilts, it's a little bit more visible. So I was actually somewhat limited with the size of this quilt because of my 2.5-inch strip. I ran out of fabric to do the strips. And so a lot of my half square triangles I have left over, and I only used a fraction of the orange fabric that I had pulled out. Not that I'm like terribly upset about that, but just as like a heads up. So this particular fabric I did not wind up incorporating into this quilt, but I have ideas. I forgot that I drew a line down I really do actually. I've started doing that regularly, drawing a line down my half square triangles because I do feel like it helps a lot. It does help. Another point of me eating my words. It helps. And these were large enough that I felt like it didn't waste too much time. The half squares, after I sewed on either side of my line, I then cut them down the middle, and then I ironed them open. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks while I've been doing this and just in general recently. Some historical books, because I find that I have an easier time paying attention to nonfiction when I'm doing something else while I'm listening to it. And I personally am fascinated with history. And then also some fictional books. But this is not sponsored. I just wanted to let you know that there's an app called Libby that is connected to your local library. So as long as you have a library card, you can get audiobooks for free. And the app is free. It's amazing, and I love local libraries, and we should be supporting them as much as possible. So that's what I've been doing, is supporting my local library. I have a bunch of books on hold. Recently, I've been reading the Silo series because I watched the first season of the TV show, but then there was the writer's strike. So that's Wool, Dust, and something else. I'm still waiting on the next 2 books, but it's really good, I think. There's always, of course, people who aren't going to like it, but basically humans are living in silos underground because the world up top is poisonous. And there's lots of intrigue, and it's really good. For a dystopian tale, it's actually really good. I like the main character a lot. Although she doesn't show up for a bit, so spoilers. I don't want to give too much away either. It's a thriller mystery. It's fun. It's been a lot of fun to listen to. If you've got any book recommendations, I'd love to hear them. But I have a lot of to read. A lot to read. So you saw I was trimming down my half square triangles, and here I have laid it out. Now this is what tripped me up, is because the corner of the 4-patch, they want the side of the triangle to match the same color as the 4-patch in the corner, if that makes any sense. So that corner is all the same color, and I was really concerned. I was like, why am I not doing it the other way? I don't know if this is like indicative of all Jacob Ladder patterns, because I know that she's got other Jacob Ladder patterns in this book in different locations, but I was very concerned. However, in the end, I think it looks pretty cool. But yeah, I checked the pattern multiple times. Here it is. That corner. So like most of my quilts, I do 4-patch by 4-patch by 4-patch. So this is the second 4-patch, and then there's going to be a larger 4-patch with all of those, and that gets that final block that was in the book. There was some variation with my blocks. I had basically 2 different blocks with fabrics. That was what I wound up having in the end. As I was going along, I kept out certain other colors, and I kind of like it that way. But I did try to vary them in the 4-patch and the layout, so that there weren't like one block that had all the same colors, unless that was the final block. Does that make any sense? So I think you can see the fabrics are different. But ultimately, from far away, because the fabrics were similar enough, like I did my light fabrics in one corner and the darker oranges in another. Like the lighter oranges in the top corner and the darker oranges in the bottom corner. I kept it like that, and I think that helped a lot. And in the end result, I really feel like it winds up looking like almost a houndstooth kind of pattern. I really dig this quilt, like the finished result, but I was really nervous going through it because I was so confused. Why would you put the blacks next to why? But that's what the pattern called for. And in the end, I don't know. It also kind of looks like bats in a way. And I'm also, yes, very, very into orange and black together. I really like this quilt. Although actually looking at it, I think I hung it upside down. Oh my goodness, I did. Because, well, I guess I like it with the light colored squares pointing down. But they were, when I was originally laying it out, they were pointing up. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I guess I could try to... This is what my brain has decided is the right way now. So all that to say, I do really like this quilt. I like it a lot. I'm actually kind of obsessed with it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me with another quilt video. I have ideas. We'll see when they come out. But I'm not giving up on this channel or quilting anytime soon. I have too many ideas for that. So, well, I will see you in the next one, I guess. Like and subscribe. Have good holidays, and thank you so much for watching. All right, bye.